Hey, good morning, you fine, fabulous book people. It is a damn fine day to talk about a book, and we are here for a book review, a poetry review of Victims by Marge Simon and Mary Turzillo, and this is from Weasel Press. I enjoyed this book quite a bit. I've been reading a lot of laser focused poetry collections here recently that really kind of focus down onto one particular topic, this one being stories of victims. But recently did Avra Margariti's Saint of Witches, all about witchy stuff, and I did I'm drawing a blank. White Van by Meg Tuitt, and that's all like abduction horror poetry. And of course, last year, one of my favorites was In the Forest, Into the Forest, and All the Way Through by Sina Paleo, all about actual missing girls and poetry about that type of thing. And I really seem to enjoy that. Whereas if it was a collection of short stories, I like broadness. I like a bunch of different stories, bunch of different types of stories. Like sometimes when a anthology or collection is laser focused in prose, I don't enjoy it as much. But in poetry, I seem to really like the way that flows when it's narrowly focused. So I don't know why I'm telling you that, but this is Victims. It's all about from the point of view of victims, and it's really good. In here now, I'm not going to say this is my favorite prologue or intro to a book ever, but it's really, really good. It's got some really, really good stuff about horror and dark poetry, especially, but it's got some just great stuff in here, and it's written by David. I want to say Dave E. because it's David E. But David E. Cowan, who is a Bram Stoker nominated author of Bleeding Saffron, and you got some really good stuff in here. Horror is different from other genres in one major respect. Horror requires say it loud, victim. Evil without a victim is a hurricane without landfall, only affecting shipping lanes and seagulls. Someone must suffer. Someone must experience pain, terror, dread, fear, physical or mental abuse, torture, dismemberment, disembowelment, isolation, and a myriad of maledictive insults. I like that. Horror must require a victim. Now, there's another bit in here about T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. I will show you fear in a handful of dust, T.S. Eliot wrote in his epic The Wasteland. Dark poetry is that handful of dust, and each grain of that dust is represented by the victim of the poem. One more thing here. There's no... Okay, so... Sorry about that. It's talking about poems being painful. The subject matter of this poem is painful, moving, and gut-wrenching. There is no enjoyment in reading this poem, but it presents a necessary element to dark poems. If we consider these atrocities too horrible to discuss, then we allow the perpetrators to numb us into a false belief that maybe they never occurred. Maybe they are just stories like old folk stories. Maybe human beings are incapable of repeating them. It's a pretty awesome prologue, intro, whatever you want to call it. My favorites in this book, I'm going to tell you my favorites, and then I'm going to try to read you an example of each author's work here. My favorites, though, were Pygmalion, and that's by both authors, Marge Simon and Mary Turzillo. I liked Chocolates for Twins, and that's... Who's that by? It's a longer-ish poem, 3 pages. That's by Marge Simon. Now, this is about Joseph Mengele and his, fucked up experiments on, during the Holocaust and the things that he did to twins. And it's just dark but historic, very poignant poem. I really, I mean, it's tough to say you like that shit. I liked it, but I didn't like it, if you know what I mean. It definitely affected me. Another one here that I liked was Saint Teresa and the Fuck Me Shoes. That's by Mary Turzillo. And then I liked The Defense Rests by Mary Turzillo quite a bit. And there's two more here. There's one by Marge, I know. Surgeon by Marge Simon. It's very short, like almost a paragraph format. And I like that one too. And then Tamir, Samaria keeps his cast off Teddy. It's Tamir, and then it's got a colon, and then Samaria keeps his cast off Teddy. So I'm going to read this one called Surgeon by Marge Simon first. It's very, very short, and then I'm going to read Tamir by Mary Turzillo. So Surgeon, what a surprise! Today's patient is the lesbo who stole my wife's affections. She is indeed a beauty. Even with the cap over her hair, her lovely torso prepped for surgery. It is a minor job, a nip, a tuck. I shall be giving her perfect face a bit of nipping and tucking as well. Absolutely free of charge. Smiling, I reach for the scalpel. It's messed up. It's messed up. All right, so Tamir, Samaria keeps his cast off Teddy by Mary Turzillo. I found this is probably my favorite poem in the entire book, because it's very, very important. Very, it's going on today in our world, and you'll see what I mean. But what he loved: Hot Wheels, chicken nuggets, video games. What he did: rode his bike, went swimming, drew pictures. What he was: Samaria's little boy, a tall, athletic kid, a smile to melt your heart. What killed him? The lack of an orange tip on a pellet gun, a lying cop who couldn't handle firearms, 3 seconds snap judgment. What he could be now: a college freshman, somebody's boyfriend, the pitcher on a softball team. What he might have become: a business owner, a congressman, an astronaut. But in seconds, that was over. He looked too old. He was too tall, too black. If I kneel, please excuse me, or please join me. And that's Tamir, Samaria Keeps His Cast Off Teddy by Mary A. Turzillo. Very, 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 very cool, dark, ugly, but beautiful poem. So yeah, this is Victims by Marge Simon and Mary Turzillo. I don't think I mentioned this yet. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Really, really like this poetry collection. I've read a lot of poetry this year, but I would say that this will come up again at the end of the year, along with Meg Tuitt's White Van and some other extraordinary collections I've read this year. So Victims by Marge Simon and Mary Turzillo, Weasel Press. This is Well Read Beard. This has been my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your reviews. All your reviews. I'm not making sense, am I? I hope you're enjoying all your books. All of them. I say this every time, and I think it's the first time I've messed it up. I hope you're enjoying all your books as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.